Okay, so this is what we've got up at the moment. This is our fruit basket that we've been working on. Also, let me get stream avatars up. I've just noticed that I haven't opened it yet. And that's because we didn't have a starting soon screen, so I didn't have time to set up everything. Because I was like, okay, stream's been really late today and I want to get live as soon as possible. So we're not going to have our usual 10-minute starting soon screen. We'll just get straight into it, and during that time I usually get up my bot and get up the stream avatars and do my live announcement and all those sort of things. So here we are, there's me and Azriel. We're here now, we're here, yay, yay, thank you Yasmin, yay, congrats Neffel. Doing good, hope this Wednesday's treating you well, not going too bad. I had Tuesday off because now I used to stream on Tuesdays. It used to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, but I have Tuesday off now. And I thought it was really, really helpful because I didn't actually do much scene work because I wanted to save that for stream. But I did do some off-stream work. I was thinking of some potential future merch ideas for Raindrop Chronicles, and that was super good. So I'm excited to potentially show you guys those. I was wondering if you had a second to glance over the plot of my story. Oh, I will, Lord. Like, you'll have to bear with me because my list of things to do is very big. That is honestly a reason why I've changed my schedule, so I can get those things off my list. The character sheet's a priority as well, and I know people like Neffel, Fantasia and Dave have characters that they're waiting to see in the game, and then those guys will be walking along here as well when they get theirs done, which will be awesome. And there's just a lot to do, so I'll be with you for sure. But yeah, didn't even notice my kitty wasn't there. Hi Dead Pixel, how are you doing? It's good to see you. In times like these, I love sharing some love. Oh my god, there's going to be a new Ghost in the Shell on Netflix. Hype. Oh, awesome. I hope it's good. I've never watched that anime, but I've heard that the anime is really good. I know, right, making an RPG is a difficult endeavour. I'm sure you have a lot on your plate, yes. But I think it's going to help, like, just changing this schedule to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and having those days off in between. It's gonna free so much time to get stuff done. So I haven't forgot you, Lord. In fact, I was thinking about you the other day, but of course, just bear with me. What is New Ghost in the Shell on Netflix? That's my absolute favourite series. Oh, it's your favourite, Dev? Dev. It's gonna be standalone complex even. Awesome. How many episodes are in that anime? Because I usually get put off watching animes when they're like super long, when there's hundreds and hundreds of episodes, because I know it'll be impossible for me to finish them. Not a lot. If there's not a lot, then it's definitely a lot more intimidating to consider to start watching something. I'd be lucky if I can only get a sliver of feedback, and I'm trying to gather as much as I can get, especially from the people of their hand in wordsmithing. Awesome. And Lord, if you ever want to pop it in the creative channel as well, feel free to, because more eyes could potentially be on it if you do. So it's up to you, of course. There was 12 for each season. That's not too bad then. Not too bad. Okay, so fruit basket. What I have done off stream was I have done some of the different frame by frame animations. So you can see here each of them are jumping out of the basket, and we're finally left with none in there. So tomatoes first, then lemon, then blueberry, then plum, and then apple. That's the order that they jump out, because that's the order that they speak and in the dialogue. So if we look at our draw.io, so yeah, tomatoes first, then there's a bit of dialogue with Carol, then lemon, blueberry, plum, and then apple. So that is the order. And then once they're all out, everything goes down. So yes, it's going to be fun. So we're going to get those into RPG Maker today and do some test plays and see if they look good. Hopefully they do. We'll see, because we're very limited with what we can do with RPG Maker. I do like to see if it can be stretched and think outside the box with how to do the stuff, but we can't really put stuff outside the tile set. So I would have loved to have had an extra frame here where, say, the tomato was half jumping out, but that would have not really been possible unless there's a plugin that allows you to go beyond the tile. But I had a look into that while I was doing the last cutscene, and there wasn't really one. So sometimes we'll have to simplify it because we've got no choice, but we can still make it look cool, and we'll see how it looks when we do our play testing. But one thing that I was thinking of doing as well was getting rid of all this stuff, because there's a lot of assets we don't even use, and it gets a bit confusing when there's so many assets on a tile set. So what I do want to do is have a look at the ones that we don't need and delete them. So I'm going to open RPG Maker MV now. Didn't see the live action one. Those sprites are adored. Thank you, Dad. They're very cute. That's what we did. What the aim is, to make them as cute as possible, so that everybody's shocked when they turn out to be evil. Is a prequel to the anime? Yeah, I heard there was a live action, and I heard like people like hating on it, but people always do, don't they? There's always somebody who hates on something, but I don't know anything about it at all, so I wouldn't even comment. Can't eat a tomato, that cute. You think the tomato's cute? That's good. I'm glad that Tomato's getting some love, because he's the emo boy and he looks quite vicious, but I do think he's still cute. I don't eat tomatoes ever. And this is why Tomato is full of hate, because he knows that he's not as tasty as the other fruits, and he's very resentful of that. Okay, so I'm looking in RPG Maker right now, and we have turned all these maps into parallax maps. So really we don't need any of the tiles anymore, in all honesty. We haven't turned the indoors into parallax maps yet though. Gotta be careful we don't delete anything that we need. But to be honest, I've got quite a good memory and I sort of remember what we've used and what we haven't. Because it's kind of bugging me that we've got all this stuff, and I kind of want to just make sure what is on the tile set from now on is things that we're actually using. So I am gonna delete stuff, but I don't, like I said, I don't want to delete. I might accidentally delete something I shouldn't. So Lakefall hasn't been turned into a parallax map yet. So some of these boxes I think I used. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete them, but I'm going to just make a new save file just in case I need to go back to this one. Because we're going to need space, guys. We're going to very likely be making more of these sort of things with events and tiles so we can animate them. We're going to do it to the easel as well. And I want space, so I'm going to save this, but I'm going to rename it into something else. We don't want to have to delete something and regret it, so we'll call it Everbloom Forest Outside B. And then that's saved now. So go into our tile set. So we're using, I think we're using Lake Fall Outside for this. Ooh, let's catch up with chat. Hi Legmug, how you doing? Good lord. So I turned on my PC and came to this stream. Then I had to do stuff downstairs, minimise the window and forgot I was even on this page. Jumped out my skin when I put my headphones in, expecting to hear silence, then being all mysterious. My voice is not mysterious to you, Legmug. It's famous to you and you know it. At least he's aware that he's a fruit. Not a lot of people know that or would believe it if you told them. I know, right? And that I've put that little, I made sure to fit that little bit of backstory in. If you click, because you get a choice, like the paths branch into 3 different like paths at some point in this scene, and if you go with the bravery route, there's that you can say a line of dialogue that gives you a bravery point, basically, that's considered the brave choice. If you go down that route, you find out more about Tomato's past and the fact that he was bullied by other fruits. He was called a vegetable, and he was very mad about that because he knows he's a fruit. I am not good at making sad people feel better. Well, you are good, Neffel, because you're here and you're awesome. But this shot was swiftly changed to add the incredible voice of Rosie Raindrop. Yay. Well, I'm glad. I'm very glad, Negmug. I hope that I didn't shock you too much. I wouldn't want that. Just be there and listen. A lot of times that is all that's needed. Yeah, Yasmin is right. Says it much better than I could. More often than not, sad people just want to vent and know someone listens. Yeah, that's definitely true, because sometimes saying something helps, but listening is really the most valuable thing. People just want someone there. I know I feel like that sometimes too. If a tomato is a fruit, does that make ketchup a smoothie? Yes. So you all believe tomatoes are fruit, don't you guys? Or do you think it's a vegetable? I'm very curious. I want my face to be on show on my shirt, because the way it was before, you couldn't. It looked like I was wearing a plain white t-shirt. It's a fruit, yay! Dad knows it's a fruit. So what were we doing? Okay, so what we're probably going to have to do for now is make another... Yes. How are we going to do this? Because I could just copy and paste Lake Fall Outside and put Everbloom Forest outside here, but I'm going to probably change the order after, because the farmland and wagon, I don't like them being before Everbloom Forest outside. I like everything in order of when it appears in the game. But for now, we'll just have it here. So outside B can be changed to Everbloom Forest outside B. And the goal is to gradually only have on the tile sets assets that we've actually used, because there's so many assets here that you can see. We haven't even used like 90% of them, probably more. So it just keeps it tidy that way, rather than just putting in any random tile set and not using it. Because then it just still save a lot of space as well for future assets that we'll want to use. Okay, so there we go. So everything's the same, except I've replaced that outside with Everbloom Forest outside for now. I'm gonna have to have at some point on one of my days off or the weekend, I'm going to have to really go through everything and tidy it up. And that includes all the variables as well and switches, because they're very messy at the moment. And we're very lucky we're still quite early on to be able to do that, because the further we get through the game, the more daunting it will be to reorganise all that. But it's better to do it earlier while we still have a chance. I'm going by the official definition, so fruit, I need someone to give me a hug and then give me ear scratches, meow. Yasmin is now a cat. I want to be a cat. I'd love to be a cat. I think that would be a nice life. Right, guys, so I'm just going to check something. I'm going to check my... Because I didn't have my starting scene screen up today, there's something that I usually check before going live that I forgot to. Okay, all's good. Right, so now because we changed the tile set, it's not there anymore. Our event, so we got to put it back. Oh, I noticed, I think we just placed it there before. We like literally just did that. We just used the tile. But instead of doing that, I'm actually going to do it as an event, because we're going to animate it. So it'll be better to do it this way. So we'll pick the one where they're all facing the front and you can't see they're alive. For some reason it's not showing up. It's showing up as blank at the moment. Maybe if we do a test play it'll be there though. Oh, I know why it's showing up as blank. I've just realised it's because the first square of every tile set needs to be blank, and I, silly me, have put that there. So what we're going to do is move it down one. Yeah, it's always meant to be blank, that first tile set. So we'll save it again. They look cute as they're jumping out of it, I think. I also picked the part of the animation where they look a bit squished to give the impression that there's a bit of a bounce when they're jumping. They're more squished there, bless them. Okay, so... there we go, it's there now. Thank you, Voxel, for that follow. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. I always was a cat. I was raised by cats by my side and always had them by my side until I moved out from my parents' house. And if I had a house and not an apartment, I would most likely get myself a cat. Again, you should. I think cats are lovely pets because they're really easy to look after. Dogs are wonderful too, but they do take more looking after. I do like cats. Some people don't because they think they scratch and stuff, but not all cats do. I had a cat for 20 years and she never scratched me once. She was so gentle. It's how you bring them up. I love cats too, yeah. I love all animals, to be honest. There's no animals that I can say I hate because all animals are precious. Okay, so we're going to do... well, I was going to do a test play, but to be honest, we could add a few more things to the scene before we do the test play. So far in the scene, what we've done is we've got we've made Rose and Carol appear, and Carol's seen the easel, she's reacted to it and told Rose to go and paint a picture of who took her Ollie. Ollie is her son, which you'd know by this point because you would have watched the flashback, so you'd know about Oliver. I still have to put that flashback scene on Discord as well because I want you guys to have the option to see that before we confirm that it's 100% done and dusted. So that's another thing on my list to do to get done. Okay, so so we've got up to this point. And we were going to work on animating Rose painting as well. We'll try our best to do that. But we're going to go back to that. I want to get the fruit jumping basket part done first because I want to make sure that works and I'm happy with that. So a basket with 5 fruits inside begins to shake. The red fruit turns, opens its eyes and jumps towards Carol. So that's our next step. We've got to show the red fruit jumping out of the basket. And looking at what we've got here, these first 3 at the top are the tomato jumping out the basket. He turns and then he jumps, and then in the next frame after that will be this one, and he'll be somewhere on the grass. So that's what we're going to try and do. We'll see if we can pull it off. But it says that the basket shakes, so I think the reason why we want it to shake is so we can let the player know that it's, there's something going on in that basket, because otherwise it could be a bit sudden if suddenly a tomato appears and without warning. So it's just that, like, something for the player to pay attention to the basket before we know exactly what's happening in that basket and that there's actually living fruits in it. Because from all we know is that that's just a normal basket with normal fruits in it at this point. But once it shakes, we'll be like, oh, what's that? And our attention will be away from the painting, and then tomato will jump out and everything will happen from there. So what event is it? Event 13. So I wonder if there is a shake event thing in RPG Maker. I'm not sure. If there isn't, we'll just have to animate it with frames. But I'm hoping that we don't have to do that and that there's an actual so can I get this up for you guys to see? Let me just check. Then commands done. Okay, so I can get event commands up for you guys. Let me just... Yeah, okay, I think that's working. That way you guys will get to see what I'm looking at. I like dogs, especially big dogs. It's fun to play with them. Big dogs are gorgeous. I love Goldens and I love German Shepherds as well, especially. Even if they put their claws out, most people get scratched because they pull away. If you don't move, they usually quickly retract their claws again and nothing happens. Yeah, my 20-year-old cat, she's not with us now, bless her. She did live a good life. She never, like I said, she never scratched me. She never scratched anybody in our family. There was only one person she scratched in her whole life, and that was a child who kept being really rough with her and stroking her the wrong way, really, really rough. So I can't really blame her there for scratching. So yeah. Hi Met, how are you doing? It's good to see you. I think the link on the Discord is just missing the match. Yeah, Met, that's what I do that every time. I always put the link inside those two symbols. That's the trick to stop the whole image showing up, and I prefer to keep it compact, my live announcements, so I always do that to keep the link but for some reason it didn't work, and I did put the other one there, so it's really weird. I don't know whether they've changed the meta, but I'll have to look into it, because I did edit and say, but no, it didn't work for me. Hey, how you doing, Matt? My fiance had a dwarf pincher, so cute. Posted a pic on the Discord. Yeah, guys, we have an adorable pets channel in our Discord if you haven't seen it before. So if you do have any adorable animals, don't be afraid to post, because we love looking through there. Whenever we're feeling a bit meh, nothing warms our hearts better than looking at some cute pets. Well, for me anyway. I don't know about you guys. Thank you, Fat Skeleton Business, for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Your name is very creative. I've never known a fat skeleton before. I like it. Okay. So, shake event. We got that. We do have a shake screen. Oh, damn it. I don't think we got a shake event, have we? I thought that would be a bit too ambitious for RPG Maker. I am gonna do a quick Google. Shake event RPG Maker MV. Making one event shake. I knew there was a screen shake because we did that for our card scene and it worked really well. Okay, so I'm on the internet, guys. Someone says the simplest way is to make the event or player turn left, right in rapid sequence by move route. Real shaking is possible, but it would require a script to move off grid. So a script to position events could be used. Okay. Okay. We could use the script like this. This is what we did with the screen shake, actually, because the screen shake only allows horizontal screen shake and not vertical, so we did have to use the script for that. So I'm going to do that for this as well. We'll see how it works, and I think it was event 13, wasn't it? Let me just see how I set it up for our wagon scene. Oh, okay, it was a slightly more simple script for the wagon. Yeah, it's event 13. And I think we gotta just put that there. Shake, x-axis shake, duration. So I think that means I need to see an example, to be honest. I assume numbers have to go in there. And say that's going to be in frames. Just say 60 frames. I don't know what that needs to be replaced with. 0. I'm hoping that's going to work, but I'm not very confident. We'll see. Scripts don't usually work for me, especially first time, because I'm a noob. We'll see. Oops, I have pins and needles. I always get pins and needles because I don't move enough. Okay guys, so we're gonna do a play test. We've got muted volume right now because this is not really about sounds at this stage. It's about getting the scene and visuals. Right. So we have a 300 frame weight. No, it didn't work. I was staring at the basket, but it didn't work. I had a feeling it wouldn't. I'm going to look at another post. Because this to me is such a simple thing. You know, making an event shake. But this is what I mean, you have to like, the RPG Maker doesn't allow it by default. So you have to get smart and you're like, okay, let's figure out how to do this. And it seemed like there was a script for it, but yeah, I'm never confident with how I edit scripts, especially when they don't give examples. So there's another option I've got that I think we could do, and I don't think this will be too time consuming. In all honesty, all it is, a little hack to get the event to shake, would be to copy this event. I'm going to put it at the top here because we can use these two. We just can't use the one in the top corner because that needs to stay blank. So that. Well, we'll have. Yeah, I think we only need a horizontal shake. It'd be like that. Okay, so we just literally moved that one by 1 pixel. We don't need that one because we got that there. So, yeah, so let's save that. Let's see if this works. I'll feel awesome if it does. Because sometimes you have to think of hacks. If you can't, you know, it's something a bit overly complicated to pull off, there's always a way to do it. You just have to think how you're going to do it. It's all problem solving. Okay, so... So I'm actually going to have that one, the one that's off by a pixel as our, and then so it's event for 13, isn't it? So let's delete that script. We don't want it now. So we just set movement route. I'd say event 13. Make sure that's selected. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna change the image. let us change the tile set image? No way. Don't do this to me, game. Or RPG Maker, don't do this to me, RPG Maker. That's weird. I always thought that tile sets were included in changing a graphic image. But I've got another idea. We could always do it this way instead. This is a little bit could be a bit messy, but it's another option, is to make 2 pages. So I'll switch D because we haven't used that, have we? So I'll switch D. Copy the script for cell switch changing. And this is because it won't allow us to change the image of a tile set. It only allows us to change the image of a character, not a tile. So we'd have to literally make a character sprite out of that. And yeah, I mean it's possible, but yep. Okay, so 913D, true. Okay. Let's see if this works. And then we change it back. To false, and then it's just about repeating that movement, but I don't think I'm going to repeat it. I think we only need to make it shake 3 times, so we have to have the frame wait in between, so that we actually see it. Let's see if that works. So basically it's just changing the graphic every 10 frames from this to this. And if you can see the image there, it literally just shifts by a pixel. So hopefully it'll give that'll give the impression of a shake. We'll see. We won't know until we test and see this. It's really cute. Oh, is there something I'm gonna have a look at in the patch channel as well? Later. Have to make sure I can't miss out from seeing this. I always do this. I always go on the wrong save game. It's habit. It's from testing this bit a bazillion times that's caused that. It's worked. It worked. Okay, so it's not like something you notice as a player because it's so subtle. Like it literally just moves like that. So what I'm going to do, we're gonna look for a sound effect. Probably not today, but I'm gonna look for a sound effect of like a basket shake. Something like moving in a fruit basket, like whatever that sound effect would be. I'm sure I'll find one. And that way, if we have a sound effect to accompany the shake, we'll notice it. We'll be like, what was that? And then, I think that'll be cool. I like how the barrel follows you. Yeah, she's brilliant. She's brilliant. And in some like scenes, she's going to be like that sort of, what do you call it? Not assistant. Assistant's not the word, but like a companion, I guess, who accompanies you on your journey, and she'll pop out now and again I might have something to say. I think I said that on the story so far, didn't I? Sometimes she won't, but whenever there's a part for her to play, you know, she will. And she is at the moment, because the plot is very, very, very heavily focused on Carol right now. And she's the only NPC in our party that actually talks. So we have to make the most of her at this time, because Rose is a mute, and the hero only talks when given a choice. So when we have playable characters join our party in the future, they can probably do some of the talking, not just Carol. But yeah, we had no choice but really to have her be very prominent at this point, considering she's the only talking character. How the barrels walk, by the way, do they have little legs or something? They just hop. They like just jump like on the spot, so you'll see them like walk like that. I think I can potentially improve that animation just a bit, but there's not much space to work with, because the barrels really fill up the top, that 48 by 48 tile section, and because of that there's not much room to make the hop big. I think there's literally only 2 pixels that I can work with, so the hop looks quite small. I would like it to be a bit bigger. So, I mean, I'd have to kind of take a few pixels off the barrel if I was going to do that, but we'll see. I'll look into things and see what we can do. It's just a small thing, just to improve the walking animation of the barrel, I guess. Okay, so it did work, which is super good. Now we know it works, we can do the next part, which is get Tomato to turn around and get him to jump out, and I'm really excited to see this bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to carry on from here. I think we can. So we can... Oh dearie me. Guys, I've just realised something. I should have realised this before. Once I realised you couldn't select tile sets. Because I don't want to have to use a ton of switches to change the image. I mean, it's very possible for me to make a number of pages, like new event pages, and have different images here with each of the different baskets that we're going to have. But we'd have to assign a switch for that, and we only have like 4 cell switches, and I think there might be a plugin that allows more cell switches, but you know, it's messy. Oh damn it, what are we going to do now? We might have to move these guys onto a character sprite sheet to pull this off then. And the reason why I didn't do that in the first place is because I don't like how RPG Maker MV handle the character sprite sheets. They force you to. They don't allow you to select a frame when you change the graphic of a sprite sheet like they used to in some of the older ones, and that means you have to like literally make. Yeah, it's a bit confusing to explain, but trust me, it's not. It's a bit of a pain in the butt when I say it. But we're gonna. It looks like we've got no choice but to do it. I am gonna do a quick Google to make sure. Though I'm gonna Google change image tile set and see if it is possible. Change image tile set. So. Also, Neville, I've got to say I'm really excited to make your character, and I know it's taking me a while. Everybody who's waiting for a character sheet right now has been waiting way too long, in my opinion, because I promised you guys I'd get it done after the website. But, you know, it's been tough streaming 4 days in a row, because I literally only get handful of hours in the evening after my dinner before bedtime, and that can be really difficult to do when you've got so much stuff to do. But I'm pretty confident now with my change schedule I'll be able to get those sheets, slowly get them done one at a time. Okay, so this is it. Movement root, replace image with anything in a tile set. This is basically what I want to do. Replace an image, choose from tile set, any tile set instead of just... You can only use either a sprite or a tile of the map's tile set as a picture. It's not possible to use a tile from a different tile set than the active one, but you can use GIMP. No, I don't think that's what I wanted to know. I'm trying it. Yeah. That tile sets in the actual image, but it's no tile set. Yeah. I would suggest either making an image you want, change your cat shielding, and move right up to the point, changing the image. Yeah, see, they're saying what I figured, like we're gonna have to use switches to change the image, which we really don't want to do, because those switches are precious. I think there is a limit for how many are in RPG Macro V. There's not infinite switches, so for that reason they're precious and we only want to use them when necessary. And cell switches are different because they're ideal for, you know, they don't use up switches, but we've only got 4 and that won't be enough. Even with if we had to plug in to have more cell switches, we still wouldn't have enough. Okay, so we're gonna have to do it that way, as is what I figured we'd have to do. So it's not going to be too hard to do. In all honesty, the setup won't be too bad. We got to just change things around a bit. What we have to do is set it up like we would a character sheet. So if we'll get someone's character sheet out as a template, then we'll know what to do. So image, characters, so anything that we're going to use as an animation can only really be done as a character sprite sheet. Even if it's an object and not a character and it needs animating, we'll have to still do it this way, I'm afraid. So we did this with the cart for the cart hijacking, so we can do it the same way. But we need 3 of every image. That's the pain. That's what I was trying to say. It's unfortunate. We wouldn't have needed to have 3 of every image if it was a tile set. But the way that they do character sheets in RPG Maker can be is very strange, how they don't let you select frame by frame. So it forces you to do 3 of every image because of that. Because this is what I mean. This is what we did when we animated our cart, and we had to do 3 of everything. And that's because it's a 3x4 character sprite sheet, you see. That's how characters walk. And it works, obviously it works for a character walking sprite perfectly, but for objects, they're static, where you've only got one element of it that's animating. It's actually weird, but it still has to go by that same format. So we will have to like do 3 of everything, unfortunately, but it won't. I don't think it'll take long to do. I don't know. We're not going to use that as a template though because it's too big. We'll probably use we'll get Oliver. We'll use little Oliver as a template. Okay, so let's think. Just move these here for a sec. We're gonna have to do 3 of everything, so. But this is good, like, you know, you learn. I didn't realise at this point that tile sets couldn't be used to change images. So if I'd have known that in advance, I'd have already prepared for this beforehand. But I'm still like learning as I go. So I'm surprised my internet is doing good today. Yay! Well, I'm glad it's doing awesome. There's nothing worse than internet being silly issues. So I'm happy for you, Neffel. Right, so this is, and I think character sheets work differently to tile set sheets, so we can actually use the top left corner for this one. So yeah, we have to copy it 3 times. It's a pain in the butt. If RPG Maker let you select by frame when changing an image, we wouldn't have to do it like that. We could literally just have it in like this, how it is here. But nope. Okay, so now, I'm not entirely, I'm going to have to remind myself how this selection thing works with the character sprite sheet in RPG Maker, so I'm not going to do it all in one go in case I'm wasting time here. So I'm actually going to just save it like this at the moment. Oh, we'll get rid of Oliver though. I don't think we need him. I kind of just wanted him as a reference to see how a character sheet's set up. So what are we gonna call this? Fruit basket. So I want to just test this first before I actually design this whole character sheet. I don't want to do it and then be like, oh, I've done it all wrong. So I'm going to just make sure I'm on the right track with this first of all. Fruit basket, here we go. So basically, can I get the pop-up up here, or isn't it going to work for me? Nope. Hang on. There we go. So what I am going to do is I'm going to get rid of that cell switch page now because we're not doing it that way anymore. So there we go. So we're going to delete all that, and instead we're going to change image rather than use the cell switch script. Fruit basket, and this is what I mean. I just want to show you so you understand what I mean about RPG Maker not letting you select a frame. And it's a bit small here. Let me see if I can get it up on the pop-up instead. Select an image. Yeah, that's better, that's bigger. See what I mean? it only lets you select by every 3 times 4 area. So because of that, we can't even put them on the second row. We have to put them on like over here or here or here or here. It's very, very, such a waste of space in my opinion. But what can you do? So, how are we gonna do this? I mean, we can. There's a way around it. We can just make them face left or face right or turn down, and that will change the graphic to the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th row. But it's, and that will save space. But the setup's quite messy. But it don't matter. I don't think that really matters as long as we do it right. So, all we need to do then, it's a face left of the second row. I'm going to have to make a note of this so I remember. I'll be a pro then. So the first row, row 1, is face down. Turn down, should I say. And row 2 is turn left. Row 3 is turn right. And row 4 is turn up. So knowing those, what each row is, and the direction the face for each of those rows will help me make sure I put these animation images in the right positions. So what we got to do is it's the face left one for the second row. So turn left and then turn down. So we just need to put the 10 frame weight between the two. So this is what I've just done. Turn left, turn down, turn left, turn down, turn left, turn down, and with a 10 frame weight. Every 10 frames, well, 10 frames in between. So really what's happening there is it's not really turning left and turning down. It's because that first row there is the turn down and the second row is the turn left. And that'll show the shake because there's a 1 pixel difference between those two graphics. So I'm hoping that'll work, and we're going to do a test to make sure. And if it does work, then we're on the right track, and then we can add the other graphics in and start making them move and jump out of the basket, which is super exciting, guys. So that's kind of the goal for today, to get the fruits jumping out the basket for me. So if I can do that before the end of the stream, I'm happy. And I'll also be happy if we can maybe even attempt doing Rose's painting animation before the end of stream as well. That would be cool. And I want to kind of get some dialogue in too, but we'll see. Because the dialogue part, adding the dialogue is the easy bit, considering we've already written it all up in draw.io. It's not like that's going to take much time. It's just a copy and paste job when it comes to the dialogue. The hard bit when making scenes isn't putting in the dialogue, it's doing the animations and bringing it to life, like what we're doing now with the basket and with the rose painting on the easel. Those are the two most ambitious parts of this scene. So if we can get those done today, then we're on track for getting the hardest bits out of the way first. And for Friday's stream, it'll just be the easy bit, adding all the dialogue, and there'll be a few little actions. Some of the fruits might bounce a bit and walk about across the screen, but it's far less time consuming than the job we're doing now, that's for sure. Yeah, they should shake. Yay. Okay, so we're going to test and see. And because of what, because we're not using tile sets now, let's, we can get rid of this actually. And we'll put it back to Lake Fall outside. Let's make sure it's on the right one. There we go. So we're going to see if that shake works. I'm pretty confident it will, because this is the technique I used for the cart scene. The cart hijacking, I used a lot of different character sprites, hacks to get to do the hijacking scene and pull that off. So we're going to be going the same direction with this. I thought we could do it with a tile set, but I was wrong, and we cannot ever use tile sets for animation ever again, unfortunately. But it's a lesson learnt. I forgot it's Wednesday already. I know, this week's gone by fast, hasn't it? Right. So it did shake. Unfortunately, there's a basket on top of another one here. There's two baskets on the scene. Maybe that's because... I'm actually not sure why that is, in all honesty, but we'll figure it out. We have two baskets on the scene. And I did get rid of the top... Oh, still there. I don't know why that's still there, because I deleted the old tile set, but maybe I didn't. So let's just delete it now. Okay, there we go. That is why we had two baskets on top of the other there, because we still had the old tile set one. I think I can improve this interaction with Carol and Rose as well. I'm gonna have to watch that again, guys, because I missed the shake. It's not too bad, but I can add a little bit more, I think. But we'll work on this stuff first. I think I want a little bit more hesitation from Rose. Just a bit. Let me just mute my mic. I'm going to do a big cough. Don't want you guys have to hear me coughing. Okay, so obviously as the scene loops, you're seeing the action replay. So that's why they walk up and up the screen constantly. Right, so the shake did work, so that is excellent news. Which means what we have to do now is just get the rest of these assets in. And like I said, we have to do it 3 times for each little animation asset, because this is how character sprites make you do it. And this is ultimately the reason I switched to tile sets for this, because I thought I don't have to do it 3 times. It's a waste of space. But yeah, we found out today that you can't animate tile sets, unless you use switches, which isn't something I wanted to do. So so I'm actually going to just do this one for now. We'll get this last one in, this row here, and then we're going to just focus on the tomato bit first. I want to see what tomato looks like when he jumps out the basket. I want to see it with my own eyes. I don't know why we got double thing here. Let's get rid of that. Oh, maybe not. Have to start again. Let's go back. For some reason this basket is here and it shouldn't be. It's 1 pixel too far to the left. There we go, that's how it should be. We're getting an extra unwanted line in there that we didn't want. Hi Rose, how are you today? How are you doing, Kung? It's so good to see you. I'm doing good. Look at our cute fruits in our basket, Kung. We're working on getting the scene put together and animated. So these are all the different frames of the fruit slowly jumping out the basket, one at a time. So we got tomato being all cute here jumping out. So we'll get to see how that looks in a bit. How about you, Kung? How has your week treated you so far? Ah, the cute fruits, indeed. They're looking really good. Yeah, they're adorable. Even though they're evil. And we have to fight them, that doesn't stop their cuteness at all. Okay, so for now, we've still got all these assets to move up to this side as well. But for now, we're going to just test with these. I want to make sure this is actually working first. Before we get carried away with ourselves. I want to make sure that this animation we've currently got actually does the job well. My goodness, I felt like a massive burp wanted to come out then. If you saw my face, you'd have seen. I was like, but it didn't come out. It didn't come out. So fruit basket save. Right. So now we can okay, it hasn't refreshed our image. If we switch screens, will it refresh it then? It has. So instead of having to turn off all of RPG Maker, now we can just switch screen and it refreshes the image then, which is much much easier, because when I was making the farm, I kept turning RPG Maker off all the time to update the new images, but we don't actually have to do that. Adorable evil is the perfect way to put it, Kung. Evil is the best. Neffel, I never would have thought Neffel would think such a thing. I thought Neffel liked cute, sweet things. You're a dark horse, Neffel. Sometimes evil is good though, if it's written well. I think so. Okay, so for this one, is it row 3 is turn right. So we're working on row 3. You see, that's the animation we want now. So that actually, row 3 actually means turn right to get that to show up if it was a character sprite, because we have to treat it like a character sprite, you see, to make them appear. It's confusing, it's super confusing, but that is what we have to do. So turn right will make the tomato graphics show up that we want. And I'm going to put a 600 frame weight here. Here we go, because I want to make sure it's working. So we'll see if it works. I like both cute and evil. Yeah, that's why you love the fruits, because that's what they are. Cute and evil in one. Yeah, it's worked. Tomato has moved. Right. So let's see what he looks like when he jumps out now, shall we? That's the next step. So this will actually be turn up, I think. Need the turn up one now. For rifle, now this is where we gotta put our thinking caps on and get creative now, because he's kind of half jumping out the basket in this next frame. And in the frame after that, he'll be completely gone. To put turn up there as well, so that acts as row 1. Well, sorry, turn down, not turn up. Row 4 was turn up. There we go. Right, so that should do it. We're going to do a test now. It's not going to look right because tomato is going to just disappear. That's my theory, which is what I'm expecting. But I want to see if this works first. Hi, Wes, how you doing? And Dark, how you doing, Dark? Good to see you both. How's your game going? It's going pretty well. We're doing some scene building at the moment, and we're doing quite a bit of play testing to see if the scene is coming together. So, doing some animations, all the fun stuff. I always try to be quite ambitious with my scenes if I can, which is hard in this program because it can be quite limited, but it's always fun to try and stretch it as far as you can. I'm going to just stare at this basket to make sure it's working. Okay, so that is exactly what I expected to happen. Tomato to kind of do a half jump but then disappear. So the next goal is to get him to appear on the grass. So what we could do is make an event here, event 11, and all we need to do is change event 11's graphic at the right time. We'll see if this is smooth. If it does work really smooth, I'll be very pleasantly surprised and happy, but we'll see. How's your day been then? Not too bad, Doc. How about yours? How are things going for you? Good to see you again. I like those emotes, Snaffle. It's a piggy. I love it. It's a piggy. It's a piggy with a wig on. It's brilliant. Right, so it's event 11, isn't it? So what we can do here, I think we did this before in a scene. Only once I've done it though, so can't remember what page it's on. Yeah, I think we can just do this with movement root, in all honesty. I think that's kind of what we must have done before. So event 11, change image, and all it has to be is tomato. But we need to make sure you get the timing correct. So we'll put wait for completion. And then it should work. I'm not expecting it to. I'm expecting it to be a bit rough around the edges. But we'll see. We'll do a test and see if, how it actually looks. Yeah, piggy emotes, I love them. Raindrop seems really ambitious. I'm making a game too, but it's just a small thing. Yeah, it is. I mean, it started off as something much smaller and more like, oh, this is for fun thing. But I've found the longer it's gone on, this thing, the more serious I'm taking it. I mean, we're on stream 125 now, and I think it's no surprise with me, because I'm one of these people that always want to stretch it if I can, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. But that's cool. I mean, it's awesome that you're making a game, and it can be small. It doesn't have to be an epic, doesn't have to be big. Sometimes it's those small, short games that can be the hits. So I'm intrigued. Wes, I hope yours goes well. Cute piggies, Rose is a champ. Thank you, Kung. I appreciate how you think I'm a champ. Yay. Yay. Okay, so another test, and I'll be shocked if this actually works. I'm not expecting it to, but we'll see. So we're looking at the fruit basket, really. What is going to be happening in the bit we've done next is that tomato jumps out of the fruit basket and lands on the grass. That's kind of what we're going for. So it shakes. Tomato turns around, jumps, and yes, it does land on the grass. And it's not 100% smooth, but it worked. And he should be facing right, not the front. And of course, guys, I'm playing this in a 1080p monitor. You guys are only seeing this test playing a squished little section of my stream. So yes, it doesn't look as glorious as it will when you're actually playing the game. But, you know, it works quite well, I think. I quite like my new overlay. Even because the stream is only a 720p size, so even if there wasn't an overlay and I had it filling the screen, it still wouldn't be at its full glory. Okay, but you can see what's going on, I'm sure. I hope. We haven't got sound effects, so we don't have all that yet, and but that will all be added as well, because we're going to have like a sort of basket shake noise for when the tomato does fidget, to like draw a bit of attention to that basket, because you don't, I suppose you'd notice it the way it is, but at the time, at this point in time in the stream, you're paying attention to the easel. Well, we haven't done the rose animation with the painting yet, so not really, but that's what we'll be working on next. Okay, so the timing was slightly off. I think it was a little bit long. That's what it was. So what we're gonna do to fix that? Let's just get rid of that. Have this up big. Instead of 10 frames, we'll have 5 frames. We'll see if that just makes it a little bit smoother. And he should also be turning right, not from the front as well. So we'll have to put turn right in front. So, ooh, I'm excited. Let's see how this works. And also, what is Tomato's first dialogue line? Back off from our stuff, creaky old lady. Okay. So he jumps towards Carol, and Carol, I think Carol's standing about there. So we're gonna have to make him move towards, what event is Carol? She's event 10, I think. So I don't think there's a button that lets you move towards an event. I think we need a plug-in for that. But we can always, I think she's there, so 1, 2, 2, 3. So 2 up and 3 right. We'll see how that looks. Thanks, Rainbot. I'm always looking for more dev Twitters to follow. Yeah, thank you. Yes, thank you, Rainbot. The best bot in all the land. I appreciate that, Wes. And feel free to, if you do decide to join the Discord, feel free to let us know about your game, because we have a channel in there for the community creatives to show off their creative work. I've gone on the wrong save game again. So at this point, Rose is standing in front of the easel, but there will be some animation going on first before the fruits jump out their basket. Okay, so that walking wasn't entirely accurate. Let's watch that again. Got distracted. I started rambling and I wasn't paying attention. I definitely think Carol's like moving forward bit could have more of a hop on that as well. Let me just look at that, because there was definitely something wrong with that animation. And I want to know what it is, because it's not registering in my mind yet. He looks great when he's there walking on the grass, but I need to make sure because it's definitely a bit jarring at the moment, which is kind of what I expected at first. It actually looked better when it was on the 10 frames rather than the 5. Yeah, maybe we'll put it back to 10. And there's just a few little things to change. I'm gonna change that 300 frame rate to 600 actually, or 999, because we won't see the loop then. We won't see the loop. Okay, so change that to 10. I think everything was happening a little bit too fast on the 5 frames. No, it wasn't registering what was going on in that animation. So it's move up 2 and move right twice at the moment. Me move out 3 times. Okay. Put that there instead. Can we move? I don't know if we can move diagonal. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, move upper right. I think that's diagonal, upper right. We'll see. Let's do that now. Oopsie. Sorry about that noise, guys. Sometimes I can be a bit of a clumsy one with stuff on my desk, but I'm trying to get better at that. Okay. Okay, so it's a bit too high. Tomato should be 1 tile lower than that, so we're moving back down. I didn't catch the animation that well, but I'd rather move tomato first. So let's move that down. Let's see that again. Sammy work, thank you for that host, I appreciate that. And hi Coda, how are you doing? It's good to see you guys. How was your stream, Sammy? Hope it went well. Let's give a shout out to Sammy and see what they were up to. You were doing some sci and tech as well. You're making, what are you doing? How was your stream? Tell us what you was up to. Thank you very much for that, host. I appreciate that. Thanks for bringing your people over to this little stream. Have a good stream. Thank you very much. You take care. I know that when I finish my stream, I always need to go off for my dinner. So you go ahead and do your thing, Sammy. Thanks very much for that host. And for anyone that's stopping in who has just come in with that host, we're making a game here, cute little 2D RPG in RPG Maker, and we're making some scene stuff today. We're doing a lot of play testing to make sure it's all coming along well, building it up one step at a time. Okay, so it works, but the animation is slightly... I'm gonna have to watch it a few times, because when things happen fast... Oh, we're on the wrong save file. When things happen super fast, which things like that do, sometimes I don't always register it immediately what's happening. So I need to like watch it a bazillion times. And once we've mastered this fruit jumping out of basket business, we're going to work on the rose paint and animation part as well, because it's a bit meh without that. And Carol is definitely going to face Rose when she's painting, because Carol is wanting to see this. But that's working fine. Tomato's doing what he's meant to be doing, which is what, jumping up to Carol. But it's not, something a little bit that needs to be worked on there with the jumping bit. So we'll see. So it shakes, he jumps. Okay, it's like something really tiny, you know, when there's like a couple of frames a little bit off. So I'm just trying to work out what that is. But it's definitely better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot more, like, not very smooth. Okay, so I always wondered how they are made, so it's a learning experience. Yeah, indeed. Like, it's very fun to. I really like the scene stuff. It's probably one of my favourite bits, because seeing it actually work when it's all done is such a satisfying thing. So yeah. It's always one of the more time-consuming parts as well, to get, if you're one of those people that want to get it just right. And I'm one of those. But yeah, I'm having to watch it a bazillion times, because I'm like, what happened there? And I need to like watch it so much, like, so many times to figure out what it actually is, because all this is happening within like 10 frames when he does that jump. So I'm like, what actually happened then? Hi True Baldy, how's it going? It's so good to see you. How are things, my friend? Rose learning lots of new skills along that. I know, that's what it's all about. You find things out with every little thing you do, guys. Even just today, I learned something. Even just half an hour ago, I realised that you can't actually animate tile sets, like separate tiles, in this by changing tile set graphic, which I thought you could do, but it turns out you can't. You can only do that if you use switches, and I prefer to not have to use my switches because I want to keep them for important things. So instead of using tile set events, we're having to use character sheet sprites for animations. Even if it's not a character, even if it's an object, we still have to use a character sheet sprite to animate. It's probably just the easiest way, you know. I'm superb. Who about you? I'm doing good, Tribaldi. Even better now you're here hanging out with us. Had to cancel some Twitch subs. I hope I can support you with me being, of course. Like, there's never any... It's never ever forced on you, Tribaldi. You just hanging out with us is awesome enough. Okay. So let's see if we can figure out this animation issue. I'm going to just change a few little things. And we might figure it out. I'm going to just put a weight here just because I want to see something. Danny boy, thank you for the follow. Welcome. So I've just added the frame weights because I want to see things moving slower because everything's happening too quick. Certainly didn't fix the issue, which I wasn't expecting it to. Yeah, and it's hard with RPG Maker because you're restricted to that 48 pixel tile. You can't put your graphics outside that, otherwise they'll be cropped, because I could have done so much more if it let you do that. I'm still gonna hunt for a plugin for that if I can, but I don't think there's anything out there that does that. So basically what's happening is this, guys. So Tomato is like kind of jumping out at that point, and then he lands on the grass, and we cannot go beyond this edge, you see. Otherwise I'd make another frame where he's kind of half sticking out, but we can't do that because he'd be cropped. So we have to make the best of what we've got, and we totally can make it work. It's just gotta make sure we get the timing right and it doesn't look not unsmooth. How often do you stream? Here's my schedule, guys. So 3 times a week. I used to stream for Monday to Thursday, 4 days a week, 3 hours on those days, but now it's 3 and with an extra hour, so it's 4 hours for those streams now. So it's super good. I'm kind of really happy with this current schedule now, because having the Tuesday, Thursday and the weekend to do the work on the game off stream is going to get me more focused and get more stuff done on my to-do list. Because you guys know, I've said it many times, we don't get much work done on stream. Stream isn't really the time where I expect to get loads done, you know. It's usually the chatty community time, and we get some stuff done because I work as we do it, but I can just do so much more when I'm not streaming. So that's why I don't stream every day for hours, you know, because it's just the game dev, you need that time to really focus to get things done. Thank you, T-Dar, for that follow. I appreciate it. Seeing the advantages and challenges of this platform is so interesting. I've made games before, but mostly for web. Never used RPG Maker. Awesome. It's cool that you've done stuff for web. What did you use? What program to make those? And yeah, there's definitely challenges. Like RPG Maker is far from a flexible piece of software. It's very limited, and it's brilliant if you want to make, you know, an old school 2D JRPG style game. Like, you got everything there for you for that, and there's not much work in terms of code for getting something put together, which is wonderful. Like, anybody could quickly get something up and running, you know, with this program. But if you kind of want to like stretch it and be a little bit more ambitious about your animations and anything at all in general feature wise, it can be, you know, you have to kind of you know, push yourself to think outside the box for how you're going to do that, which is what I'm kind of doing a lot when making these scenes. Like, for example, having the fruits jump out this basket is something that you couldn't really do in RPG Maker unless you're kind of doing what I'm doing right now. You kind of have to just stick to your static images if you want to not have to think too much or do anything too complex. But you know, we want to have fruits jumping out the basket. We want to go all out here. So Unity and Unreal are live. Yay. Yeah, Unreal and Unity seem to definitely be the popular ones, that's for sure. But Game Maker's also a good one for those that want to make a more flexible game but might not be that experienced with the coding world. Yeah, that's why I don't think I could stream and dev at the same time. I don't think I could get anything done exactly whereas. I mean, it just requires so much focus. Like making a game, you gotta use your brain. You have to sit there in a dark room and just stare at your screen and not get interrupted if you want to get something done, you know. And obviously, because I'm streaming, I'm not going to just be staring at my screen and not talking to you guys. That would not be good at all as a community leader, you know, if I was just like this like the whole time. So I'm very much an interactive person. I talk to every single person that comes in and respond, and I ramble on and on and on about just stuff, and I always talk out loud about every step of the process of what I'm doing. There's never a moment of silence from me, and that is how I like my streams. So because of that, I have to think, okay, so you know, I've got to make sure everything is balanced here. So honestly, if I could, I'd stream every single day for 4, 5, 6 hours, you know, on those days. If it was possible to make a game and stream at the same time, I totally would. But it wouldn't be possible. I wouldn't get anything done. This game wouldn't be out until 5 years. Well, episode 1 wouldn't be out until 5 years. So yeah. Godot for 2D. Oh yeah, that's one I've heard as well, Clem. Game Maker is good. I've always said that if I was going to make a game that wasn't a 2D retro RPG, then I'd probably use Game Maker if I was going to go into more of another genre, because it looks like a good one for me. My web stuff was mostly Phaser, a JavaScript framework, so pretty hands-on. It was decent, never got comfortable enough to make the work smooth. Oh, really? Well, you gave it a go, Darv, so that's what matters. Drago, how you doing? It's good to see you. Look at you. You are nearly a downpour. Nearly. You're nearly there. Halfway there. Thank you, Clem, for the follow as well. I appreciate that, guys. If anyone has any questions about the project in particular that you're curious about, that isn't on the website, or I haven't said on stream, feel free to ask, because I've got about 4 questions or 5 on my FAQ page that I haven't released yet. And I definitely want more questions to put on there, and sometimes you don't know what questions people might be wondering about. The common ones are obviously things like, what is the engine? Because I actually haven't mentioned that on the website, apart from in my bio. I have mentioned RPG Maker there, but I think I need to make it more prominent. So that would probably be the first question, what engine is being used for this? And the second one would be when is episode 1 going to be released? And I think there's a couple of others as well, but I'm sure there's more. Okay, so back to doing this tomato animation. I'll get rid of the 10 frame thing because that certainly didn't help. I think we'll actually put a weight here though. We'll have 60 frames for now, but I'll probably reduce that. I'm going to make that 8 frames and we'll see how that goes. Any tips on getting started with pixel art? Like, do you prepare any research before creating something or go straight into it? Well, for me, because I'm a lot of my assets are based on assets that are already existing. At most, I do heavy edits to them, and at the least, I don't change them at all. So it depends on what it is I'm trying to make, I guess. So for me, it's less daunting because I'm not creating from scratch. Carol the Barrel and her crew were created from scratch though, so they're an exception. But most of the time, it's an asset that's already existing. Even these fruits, even the fruit guys, were based on an existing asset, a pink slime. But they got quite heavily edited to be the characters that they currently are. So I definitely think, you know, that takes the pressure off me personally when it comes to pixel art. If you are going to create it from scratch, then yeah, that's another thing entirely. And because I don't, honestly, if this project is going to be long and ongoing, I can't be creating all the art because I already do so much everything else. So it just, you know, keeps me not getting overwhelmed, putting too much stuff on myself. So yes, I choose not to create the art from scratch from that reason. Heavy edits, nice, that's a good idea. Yeah, it honestly depends what you want to do, because some people love making art. Like, art is what they enjoy doing and they create the art from scratch for that reason, and that's amazing. For me, it's more about writing a story and you know, putting something together, building it from what I can find, any resources I can find, rather than creating something from scratch. You kind of have to pick what you're really gonna focus on, because if you're gonna do everything, if you're gonna be like, I'm gonna do code from scratch, I'm gonna do art from scratch, I'm gonna do music from scratch, I'm gonna do sound from scratch, I'm gonna do the writing from scratch, you might get a bit, you know, feel a bit like that's a bit overwhelming. So it does like help to think, well, you know, I'm going to have someone else do that part of the project. You know, especially if you're one person and you're not a team, because it's just doing everything yourself. It is a hard job. What game engine is this? Hi, Alex writes code. This is RPG Maker MV. We have a program command here. Feel free to have a look at that if you actually want to see what that engine is. I use a lot of reference. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Yeah, I always think you have to have something, because it's hard to like visualize otherwise if you don't have a photo or at least something to go off when creating art. Thanks, I like the website. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by today, Alex. Yeah, I currently try to collab with artists to make stuff, but I'm just curious if I was to take the plunge. Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, if I was going to create the art from scratch, and I think I have the skill set to do that. I mean, it would be an entirely different look from what we've got in Raindrop Chronicles if I was going to do the art myself. But it would like triple or even 4 times extend the development time of this project if I was to do that. So I've chosen not to, because I want this to be a reasonably, you know, quick, you know, development process, which saying quick is a little bit, you know, it's not going to be quick, let's face it. It's an epic RPG. It's going to take time. Even releasing it, just episode 1 will take time. And that's because there's a lot of thought that's going into the seed making, the writing, and the everything, you know, everything else about the game. So, but yeah, the fact is, if you were going to do the art from scratch, it just increases that development time if you're not hiring artists to do it, of course. Of course, if you're hiring artists to do it for you, you can work on other stuff. Well, you have someone make the art for you. But I'm not hiring anybody for this project because it's a £0 budget project. So everything is zero budget that I'm doing here. And that is why I find the free resources. Anybody that has free resources online that allow you to use them in your project, non-commercial or commercial. And they usually say, as long as you credit my name, as long as you put my name in the credits, or give me a free copy of your game. That's kind of what people usually say that give their assets out. And so I don't just use just any asset. It has to fit with the look of the project. And it can be a challenge to make sure that all the art stays consistent, but that's part of the fun. Thank you, Maker, for the follow. I appreciate you. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Mostly do the programming side quick, as in not 10 years. Exactly. I mean, we don't know how big this is going to be, in all honesty. I've said that really my goal with this game is to make an epic world. I will feel awesome if I can look back at this game and think, look at that amazing world I created here. And at the moment, we've just got Everbloom Forest and, you know, that area. But over time, it'll get expanded and there'll be loads of zones that we create. And if I can look back and say I've done that and brought a world to life with characters and their own motivations, and there's a plot going on in that world, then I'll be like, yeah, I've created something here. I made a story in a world. And really that is kind of what I wanted to do here. I've always wanted to create something. And originally I was going to write a fantasy novel, but I wanted to be more visual. I wanted it to be something that we could see unfolding before our eyes, and I felt that an RPG game would be perfect for that. So yeah, definitely. But yes, creating a world is no easy feat. Like this could potentially go on for years, you know, this project. But, you know, if I'm not doing the art from scratch, it at least stops it being 50 years, you know. Because, I mean, who knows, maybe I will still be a grandma making games, but I'm not going to complain if that's the case. I'd be kind of glad if somebody told me in 50 years' time I'll be a granny making games. But I love that. I'd be like, yeah, good for me. Mia's back. Welcome back, Neffel. Do you have a target audience? I'd say that anybody that enjoys dialogue-driven experiences, games, movies, stories of any kind would enjoy this. It's not very heavy with its action, if you know what I mean. If you're a fan of COD or all those shooting games, or, you know, you're probably gonna, you know, you got to be a bit of a lore geek, a bit of a nerd. I'd say if you're an RPG fan, you like D&D and you appreciate lore heavy stories, then this is probably something for you, because I'm sort of aiming for that to be this kind of thing where we've got a very, very lore rich world. Yay. But yeah, it's a retro 2D style game, as you can see, guys. So if you've like grown up with that sort of game and you've got that nostalgia for that kind of game, then you're probably more likely going to be drawn to it than somebody that's only ever played beautiful 3D games. So for that reason, I do find that the people that come to stream and enjoy this are of the older generation, and I don't mean old because we're old, but, you know, late 20s, early 30s, maybe sometimes late 30s. We probably have some younger ones come in, you know, that's totally fine. And I find that the younger people that do come in are probably the maturer younger people. But we don't really have kids come in that, you know, don't appreciate a good story, because it probably wouldn't be for them. What's your deadline? Oh, that's a good question as well. I can put on my FAQ page, Alex. I was going to put up the question, when's episode 1 going to be released? And I've said 2020, like if by the end of 2020, you know, we're working on getting episode 1 out, then I'd be happy. But you never know, like things, I'm more for it being perfect and workable. I don't want it to be full of bugs, and I want to make sure there's also plenty of content too. So if it did have to be extended to, you know, early 2021, then so be it. But it's still spring, isn't it? We're in April now, and I think I said a few streams ago that by the summer, when the summer's over, I'll probably have a look at what we've got, like how many quests we've done at that point and how bulky our episode 1 is, and then I'll make a judgment on a release date then. Well, you just hit my age bracket on the head. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely people who were like 90s kids and all that and grew up playing, you know, your Chrono Triggers and your early, you know, Final Fantasy PlayStation 1 eras and all those kind of games. I find that those folk have an appreciation for what we're doing here. That's for sure. So yay. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't say our game was for children. I mean, I've kind of said it's a PG-13 game. Right now it probably is. But I wouldn't say no to having it become an R-rated game if that allowed us to, you know, meet our vision more accurately. I mean, right now we haven't got super gory or anything like that. And I have said that with things like swearing, I only kind of want fictional curse words, because fictional curse words are fun, allows us to be creative, and you know, I like that. I think it's quite charming. So when it comes to curse words, it'll all be fictional stuff. So that part kind of makes it more PG, I guess. But with the violence, we might want to get a bit more, you know, with that. So if that was the case, then it would probably end up an R-rated game. I guess we'll have to say what we end up getting, because we improvise this story, so we actually don't know what lies ahead. We are sort of following a main plot, and that's sort of the goal. We will continue to follow a main plot. Because I want to make sure we avoid it becoming a random sequence of events, that everything is so random. I don't want it to be like that. I want it to make sense as a story. So we will continue to follow a main plot, but of course have that whole improvising sort of like feel to it and not lose that. You know, because if everything is already mapped out and we know every single thing that's going to happen, if we plan it that rigidly, it's not going to allow us much room as a community to like throw in ideas and stuff. And this is what this is all about. Us as a community building the story and the world and how everything's going to go. Okay, let's see this animation now and then. Okay, it's not too bad. There's something a tiny bit off, like a very small amount of frames where it isn't 100% smooth. But I can totally work on all that detailed stuff off stream. But for now we know that we've got it working. We can actually get some more stuff in this scene. Right, so Tomato is going to be the one that speaks now. So this is what we was doing last week, folks. Before we put a scene together, I always love to get my dialogue put together in this little web app here. because then, you know, we don't have to think about the dialogue as well as the scene. We've already got the dialogue done, and that bit's easy. Then we just copy and paste the dialogue in, and we just build the scene around that dialogue. So we are currently at this point. So Tomato's going to threaten Carol now, and I think she'll answer back to him, insult him back, and I think maybe she could potentially chase him a little bit, just have a bit of movement going on. Maybe he runs off and Carol, in her heated rage, chases him, ready to squash him. But then they get interrupted by Lemon, who is protective of Tomato Boy because he's the granddad, and he'll jump out the basket next and say that to Carol. So if we can get that bit done next, that'll be awesome. Hello Rose, hope you're doing well. Hi Gretch, how are you doing? It's so good to see you today. How is your Wednesday treating you, Gretch? It's been a hot minute since I've seen this interface. Oh, RPG Maker, nice. Yeah, it is. I mean, RPG Maker's very nostalgic for me as well, because I grew up making very silly stuff in that when I was a kid that made no sense at all and was terrible, but it was so fun. Just the idea of making an RPG, because I grew up loving RPGs as a youngster, it was very appealing to me. So just going back to RPG Maker for that nostalgic reason as well is very, very fun. Okay, so what we're going to do now is get that bit of dialogue in. So I am actually going to copy and paste Carol's dialogue. And I'll copy and paste Tomato's dialogue line. And what event was Tomato again? He's event 11. So all we have to do is change that from 10 to 11. So the box will appear above his head then. And we also have to change the avatar as well, because we've still got Carol's face as the avatar. So we need to make their avatars now. I've just realised we need to do their avatars. So the easiest way to do their avatars is probably going to be to just use their battle graphic. I think, not their sprite graphic, because it's just a tiny little thing, and I think that'll work quite well. So these are their sprite graphics. Let's find them. I mean, their battle graphics. So it'll probably be under enemies, I think, SV enemies. Yeah, here they are. So let's get Photoshop up. Okay, so we're gonna open Carol's face there as a template. Gotta make sure we get all the sizing right and stuff. So image, faces, yeah, we'll get Carol's up. So we have, I think it's 144 pixels, and let's see what we can fit in. Obviously we'll have to chop off the palette, because they don't even have their palettes on them anyway at this point. Only in battle do they have those. So how are we going to go about this? Because we've definitely, Carol is definitely much larger than these guys, that's for sure, and so are all our other face sets. We have, let's get a human one. This is Rose, and she, yeah, most of our avatars really fill out that space, that square space, and I'd like it if we can do the same for these guys. Even if that means their faces are cropped a little bit, But obviously, if we enlarge it, it's going to get super pixelated. Let's have a look what we can do if we double it. Yeah, I started making a 90s style Metrovania with modern effects for the nostalgia. Awesome, Davey. I hope that's going well. So, you know, this is what happens when it looks super pixelated. Maybe it'll look a bit better in game, you know, but we're probably going to have to tidy it up a bit, you know. We might have to do a little bit of an edit here to get rid of the pixelation for these guys. But you know, we either do that or we have it look super small, and it's probably going to look weird super small considering all the other avatars are big. So let's first of all, let's just crop it. So it's 144. Yeah, we don't want to see the palette at all, ideally. So let's open the PSD file of this guy. So we got the PSD files of all the fruits here. I use Dragon Bone animations for our battles because they're a lot more fluid and awesome looking. So only for our bosses though, not our normal battles. Just so it makes the bosses look a bit more epic. Also ignore the big giant hammer and sword because we're not actually using those for ours. We're just using the fruits and the paint and the paintbrushes. So I think all we need is this bit. We don't need the paintbrush and paintbrush, so we copy that. Now, I'm gonna just copy and paste this and hide this layer. So, in case we want to get it back. Oops. Where's Tomato gone? Here he is. He looks a bit deformed on this screen for some reason. It looks like he's, I don't know what happened there. Let's do it again. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Like, I have a really good eye, and I noticed that for some reason he's like, it's gone a bit off there, so we'll delete that one, but he's better now. Don't know what happened there. Okay, so we are going to make him bigger because we got no choice, you know. We got to make him big because if we didn't, he's going to look super small. His avatar is going to be tiny little dot. Rose and Carol are going to be massive in comparison. So what we want to do is like, please make it his head twice as big, and it's going to look a bit pixelated, guys. So we will have to tidy them all up a bit. But before we work on the tidying up bit, I do want to at least test it in RPG Maker first, just to see how it does look. Because the face isn't actually this large in game, it's half the size. Ghosty, how are you doing? How are you doing, Ghosty? Looks like Kirby's cousin. I know he does, doesn't he? It was actually based, like the original asset was based on a pink slime, funnily enough, and we just turned them into fruits and changed the colours, made them have a bit more character. And that slime did look a lot like Kirby, I have to say. Fantasia! Oh my goodness, look at Ghosty and Fantasia coming in with the cute emotes. How you doing, guys? I want to see more cute emotes in my chat. Okay, so I want to kind of make sure it fits really well. I have 180% enlargement. I think that'll work. But one thing we can do just to help us out a bit is there are some different modes for resizing. We don't just have one. We've got nearest neighbour, bicubic sharper, maybe that one. I don't know, I forgot the one for enlargement. We'll see which one looks the best. Oh no, that is not sharper. That is not sharper at all. That's blurry. Okay, so I think the nearest neighbour one actually works best, but it will need some tidying up. I think that'll be easy enough to do. We got to just, you know, smooth things up here a little bit. It doesn't look quite as pixelated, but when it's in game, it's going to be of a smaller size, this avatar anyway. So let's just hide Rose's head because we only had her there as a template. I think we should move him up so he's a bit more centered though, perhaps. I hope it's going to look okay. We'll see. What we're going to name this file? Tomato face. There we go. So this is just for testing purposes right now. We're going to just put him in and see how he looks. We'll do a play test, and I'm not expecting him to look beautiful. I'm expecting to have to edit the pixelation a little bit. Here we go. So we're going to test now. We've got his face in now, so we'll have a look how it is. Hello, Rose. Hello, all you lovely chatters. Ferret's the best. Hi, Shuford. It's good to see you again. How is your week going? I am not lovely. You are. Fantasia's really kind. One of the kindest people. You are lovely to me. Defends. I like that shield emote. It's like it looks like it's got eyes. Those lines look like eyes on the shield, and it makes it actually look quite cute. Okay, so let's get the playtest screen up for you guys. So we're just doing a playtest of the fruits encounter scene right now, guys. We're doing all the hard bits first. So let's see Tomato jump out of that basket. Right, so the dialogue shouldn't be happening then. He needs to walk up to Carol first. And yeah, he looks awful. His avatar looks very pixelated. Well, not pixelated, but you can tell it's been enlarged, like made larger. And it looks messy, so we're gonna have no choice but to tidy those assets up. I'm afraid it'll be worth it because it'll just look better. So right, so what I will do is I'll actually put Carol and Rose's assets there as a reference because they're kind of the style that he needs to look like. Oh no. Why are you copying the tomato? So let's get Photoshop up so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. So yeah, we gotta tidy this up. But the good thing is, I know we got fried fruits here, but they're all the same design really. So we'll start with tomato. Right, let's see if we can do this, because he looks pretty pretty bad at the moment. So we're gonna tidy him up. I think I'd like his outline to be, I'm curious what he'll look like with a slightly narrower outline, because Carol and Rose don't have that big a stroke. And maybe it's going to be fine for him to look like that in battle, because he just looks fine in battle, but not for the avatar. So let's see how we're going to do this. To experiment. It's probably going to look bad at first, guys. I need to have a mess around with this. I mean, if we want to be like super lazy here, we don't even have to do their avatars. We could just make them not have an avatar and just be a dialogue box. But you know, I wanna go all out. I don't know where I got these from. Yeah, I want the shield. Pretty good so far. Watched some really weird stuff the past couple of days. Found out Tommy Wiseau had a gaming channel. Watched a movie called Easter Holocaust, and watched something about Gwyneth Paltrow's good series. Oh, sounds like you've done quite a bit then, Shuford. There was some free Twitch emotes. Twitch tends to give them out from time to time when they create them. I think those were given to affiliates. Do you stream? Is it okay for me to ask that? Yeah, totally. For sure. When it comes to self-promotion, I'm only like bothered if it's like a new person who's never been in the stream coming in and blatantly saying, guys, I'm a streamer, follow me, or something like that. But if it's the community just, you know, having a talk chat to themselves about the streams, that's fine, you know. Tried that as well, but couldn't get past 15 minutes. Not my cup of tea. That could apply to any of those three things I mentioned. LOL, which one? The movie? I've never heard of it, but I'm so bad with modern popular culture, to be honest. My feeling exactly. Okay, so this is going to be a challenge, guys, as you can probably tell. Tomato looks like a very messy boy right now. And that's what happens when you enlarge your graphics. It tends to look bad. But sometimes you don't have a choice. So another way we could go about this is I always find the pen tool makes things look pretty smooth. We'll do it just a section of it first, though, as a test to see. Could work. In all honesty, he needs a complete, like, airbrushing. Poor Tomato, we don't love you for who you are. I'm so sorry. We're gonna airbrush you. we're gonna have to do it to all of them. So to be honest, this is probably something I'm gonna have to do off stream, guys, because it's gonna be on the time consuming side. Totally well worth it though to actually have good looking avatars in this scene. But I'm probably not going to be doing this for long today on stream. I think I'd rather move on to doing maybe Rose's painting animation. I think that'll be more interesting and creative to watch. Not that this is bad. Maybe you guys like me seeing making tomato pretty and smooth. We can do a bit of both. We can do a bit of both. I don't know, I'm getting a bit... I'm gonna do his inside part now because it looks very... I'm just going to roughly go over it for now. I'm feeling a bit impatient. I'll bring your face back in a sec, tomato, I promise. Yeah, in all honesty, you know what it is? It's the thick squares that's the problem here. He's looks a bit blocky because the squares have got big from the enlargement. And I think when he's been smoothed over, he'll look much better. All in all, I just want him to look like how Carol and Rose do. I can give him that same look, like he's from the same game, and that is the main thing. It might be easier to do this in graphic scale rather than Photoshop though. If you can avoid it, like enlarging your graphics, it's always ideal if you can avoid that, to be honest. Because when you have to do it, it's ugh. Okay. Let's just sort his face. I want to at least see if we can get his face looking a bit better. So... I'm gonna have to think about this because this might not be the first time that I use battler sprites for our avatars. Like if we ever have more enemies like that in the future, you know, I don't have to increase my workload by having to do avatars for all of them. but I really don't want to have to say, oh, I'm not going to bother doing an avatar and leave them blank either. Because I kind of like the idea of giving every NPC their own avatar, even minor ones. These characters are so adorable, aren't they? Even when he's a messy boy. Crop out the eyes for a top layer and then colour under them, or do that for the whole face as a layer. Yeah, it's difficult because even tidying him up, I'm just worried he's going to look unnatural. Because we don't want him to look super airbrushed or anything. And Carol and Rose are still pixel art at the end of the day, and they've got a hard edge. I want to try something in graphic scale because I never did. And I want to experiment and see what I can do. And I want to have to do it with minimal work if I can. Because, I mean, I could totally spend today getting tomato done and then doing the others. But it'll probably take longer than a day, in all honesty. I could do that and dedicate some time to tidying up their avatars. But it's thinking of the future as well. Like... you know, I want to try and avoid having to do a heavy edit of a battle sprite for avatars too heavily if I can, because it's gonna... I just want to see something. Graphic scale is a pixel art software, folks, so let's get that up. And it's where we've done, it's how we made Carol the Barrel. And it'll probably be easier to work on tomato in there, in my opinion, rather than Photoshop, just so we can keep a pixelated look. If we do have to edit him, at least he'll have a pixelated look. So let's just get him, the small version of him, back for a sec. Here we go. I find graphic scales nicer when it comes to resizing as well. Hang on, because we need to make sure we get the sizing right. It needs to go into the 144 square area for the avatars. But if he gets cropped a bit, it doesn't matter too much. So 158 this one, and that is 126. So that is him times by 2. Let's flip rotate though, because really that is kind of what we want him to be from this direction. But the good thing about if we edit it in graphic scale, we can retain his pixel art appearance a bit more than Photoshop. I'm worried he's gonna look too smooth and not like the others if we edit it in Photoshop. And yeah, he is not really pixel art, he's vector art. Because this is where it's confusing. The battle assets are actually a sort of different look to the rest of the game, but they're so good. There's just they're an amazing artist, and I can't not use their assets. But yeah, when it comes to turning into the avatars, it could potentially create, you know, a look where they look weird with the avatars from the rest of the game. So it's an interesting design decision here. We'll see what works best. I mean, you definitely know what you're doing. I'm kind of learning how to do pixel art, and it's easy to forget about using layers, especially when you don't normally use them on certain things like sprite sheets. Yeah, I made my first animated walking sprite this weekend based on John Kovalick's Kobolds for a Side project. Oh, sounds fun. If you ever want to pop that in the Creative Work channel, feel free to, Shuford. But no forcing, no pressure. Okay, so let's get carols in here for a reference. Because the only other asset we have for these guys is, let me find it, is their little actual sprite asset. In fact, let's open that. I want to test something. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I'm very curious to actually see this. So, let me find the folder. Image, I think they're under characters. Yeah, okay, so here we go. These are their map sprites. So I wanted to see what it looked like big, and I know it'll probably look ridiculous because it's so small. But my curiosity is getting the better of me. So this isn't the right size, that's for sure. But that's our other option, to use that as the avatar. And yeah, I think that's gonna be weird because it's clearly the tiny one enlarged, and it just looks, the squares look so big on it. So it would be like getting Carol's map sprite and making that big. For the avatars, we're kind of going for the more realistic look, so that isn't their actual map sprite. So yeah, I'm not sure about that. And I think I definitely prefer using their battle avatars for their actual avatars. That's for sure. I think it just needs a bit of a tidy up, in all honesty. It's not, I think I'm being fussy and overly perfectionist by going, oh, it looks absolutely ugly and awful. He just needs a bit of a tidy up. Let's get the lot of them in. But like, just look at how Apple looks here. He looks so nice at that small scale. And then now when we make him big, he's gonna look all pixelated. Maybe we could just use the small ones as the avatars. I mean, it's worth testing to see how they actually look. My only worry is that they'll look ridiculous at that small size as an avatar. And that's why I thought about just like making them big by 2, just so they don't look ridiculously small. It's worth testing it just to say, but my gut's telling me I'm not gonna like it. But it's still worth trying because you never know, it might look better than I think. So let's just make Apple bigger for a sec to see. So I think it's 164. $152. But yeah, this is the difference. So much more of a cuter boy when he's not made in large. Never enlarge your graphics and expect them to look good, guys. That's all I'm gonna say, because they won't. Hi Van, how are you doing? Working and lurking as usual. Yeah, I hope your work is going well. No, not working you too hard, Van. It's good to see you again. Thank you for the lurk. And I love my wife too much. Thank you for the follow. That's an interesting name to have, that's for sure. I'm gonna have to take a day off, but have a great stream. Have a great day, everybody. Take care, and thanks for popping in and hanging out. I appreciate that. Well, these are not vector graphics, so I think that's why they're pixelated. Yeah, well, yes, the funny thing is they're like not pixel art either. They're clearly like painterly style of graphics, but they aren't an actual vector file now in Illustrator. So of course, if you're gonna make something that isn't an actual vector file bigger, it will always look pixelated. That's one amazing thing about that Illustrator software. You can like make it into a giant thing and it'll still like absolutely beautiful quality. But yes, so I'm going to test something. I mean, the only other thing we can do if small tomato looks stupid on the screen is we just have to do a complete re-edit of these guys on their big size, and it'll just be tidying up that we'd have to do, I guess. Okay, so let's test the small avatar. So back to Photoshop. We'll test it with tomato though, not apple, because he's the one that speaks first. I think my gut is telling me I'm not gonna like it. It's gonna look too small, but I just need to say. So, okay, PNG. Let's save this face. There we go. So we've just saved him as tomato at his original size, and I want to see how he looks at his original size as an actual avatar, and I'm thinking, yeah, it's gonna look too small. It's not filling up the screen like not filling up the space, the square, like all the other avatars in the game do, so it might look a bit odd. But you never know. I could do a play test and think that looks great actually, but you know, we'll see. So let's do our play test. Kay, how are you doing? It's good to see you, Kay. How is your art and everything going? It's so good to see that you're doing all these creative stuff, Kay. I'm proud of you. You kicked butt at it too. I'm good. Yay. Got some tea and now I'm back. Oh, I hope it's yummy. Going well, thank you, hon. Yay! Glad to hear it. Are you excited for Cyberpunk, Kay? I mean, it would have been out by now, but it isn't. You know, it would have been so good if it came out now. I'd be in my room you know, talk to nobody except play Cyberpunk all the time. You'd all get ignored by me because I'd be living in that world. It's totally immersed. I'd be heavily caffeinated right now if it was. I know, we gotta wait till September. Can you believe it? Did I replace the avatar? I don't know if I did. Okay, so. Okay. No, it don't look right. I knew it wouldn't. I knew I wouldn't be happy. I want it to fill up, for sure. I want it to fill up that proper square like it does with Carol. Right, guys. So what I am going to do, I'm very likely going to be re-editing those assets just so they look good as avatars. I don't think it's the end of the world. Yeah, it will take a bit of time, but it's going to be worth it. So I'm not too upset about that. But it's just going to take a bit of time. So it's a good job. I've changed my stream hours. That means I can totally focus on that tomorrow now. Okay. But I think I'm going to just sidetrack for a bit. Rather than work on those on stream right this moment with you guys. I'm probably going to move on to the rose painting section because that is still something we need to do that we haven't yet done. So now we've got to get super creative here, and we're going to think about how we're going to approach this as well. So one sec though, because there was something wrong with that scene. Tomato was speaking way too soon. We need to wait for completion, that's all. And then he won't speak until he's actually walked up to Carol. That's all good. Apply. Idea was to start exactly at release point. Got a few months to wait now, but it'll be okay. Time will fly by, I hope. So I kind of just want this year to be gone. And I want us to start 2021 now. Because, yeah. But I shouldn't say it, because we can, you know, we never want to skip time. You know, life's too short. For sure. We can find something to do. I mean, I can get loads of this game done in this time. I'm thirsty. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. Let's just do another test play so I can visualise what I want to happen in this little animation sequence. Okay, so I want a bit more hesitation from Rose first. But what's going to happen is she's going to paint. Right, so yeah, we got a small little avatar there at the moment. We can use those as templates for now, just placeholders. Well, until we get our big ones. But that's actually worked not too bad. That bit with tomato anyway. Okay, so for the Rose bit, let's have a look at Rose's sprite sheet. I have to get rid of some of this stuff in Photoshop because we've got too many tabs open. I don't need to save these because they're not exactly beautiful. Of course, they're beautiful like this, but not when they're made 2 times bigger. Yeah, so you know, I'm trying to think what to do now because I'm split. There's a few things we could do. I mean, like we said, we could do the painting animation, but we could also still get these in. And yeah, we don't have the full avatar yet for them, but we can always just leave them for now and put them in after. It shouldn't stop us doing their part of the scene just because we don't have their avatars yet, you know. So, you know, something I am going to do for now, just for now, is get rid of that little silly avatar for Tomato, and we'll just have none there for the time being. It's very distracting seeing him so small. Change up to 120 frames because the wait is a little bit long. So yeah, one thing of doing instead, I'll leave the rose painting part for now. I think we can do that another time. I don't want to do too many things at once. So we'll just focus on getting the fruits out of the basket for now. Even though we haven't got their avatars. Been looking at a few games to fill the time that look good, plus can't plus cross stitch or drawing away. Oh yeah, like I've got some games to play and I'm just like too busy doing this. But I'm not complaining at all because I've said many of times that I actually enjoy doing this more than playing games. It's you know, I like to play a game to wind down when I can, but not if it means that I'm not doing this, because I'm a bit obsessed with doing this, to be honest. Okay, so the next stage, what is the next bit of dialogue we've got? Okay, Carol is gonna react. She says, "Excuse me, I'm gonna squash you, spoiled little squirt." Okay, so let's get Carol's bit of dialogue in now. Turn that off so you can actually see what I'm doing in RPG Maker. Okay, so we'll make sure we make Carol we'll make sure that we make her face the tomato as well and react to him. So turn left. We'll make her jump twice as well. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I enjoy making games more than playing games too sometimes. Yeah, Sam, the more I work on games, the less I like playing them. It's funny, isn't it? It's a funny thing. Have a good stream. Oh, enjoy your lunch. I hope it's super yummy. Yeah, it's just sometimes I feel like I've got to make my game. I want to make my game. It's like that's what drives me now. I just love creating and bringing something to life. And it depends. Some games, I'm not going to say that, you know, there's probably some games out there that could really make me want to keep playing, you know, and I might really get absorbed in some games, but it feels like a rarity that a game can do that with me now, especially nowadays. The last game that truly did that to me, and I mean truly did that to me, was The Witcher 3. And I've played many games since then, on stream as well. I've played many games since then. And I've enjoyed many of them. But that I could easily just put them down and not play them for a while, you know. But with The Witcher 3, like, I literally had to play it. I had to just play it. I couldn't go a day. Is this going to be playable in the browser? It's going to be PC. It's going to be Windows, Alex. And some people asked me if it was going to be on Mac and Linux as well. And I can't answer that question yet because although I'm aware that RPG Maker definitely allow you to have it on those, I can't say yes until I know for sure it's going to work with what I'm doing. I don't want to make promises that I'm not 100% sure of yet. So the only definite platform I know it's going to be on is Windows. That I can confirm 100%. But as for anything else, there's a question mark at the moment. It all depends if it's possible and how time consuming that would be, you know. Same. I love their little bounce. I love the fruit bounce so much. I'm really happy that with that little animation. Oops, I don't know why there's a gap after that. I have to sort that out. Okay, not too bad. I think definitely the hero and Rose need to react to what's happening around them now, rather than just be standing in the same position. And I always just like to focus on the characters that matter at the time that are involved in the interaction, and then I think more about how others are reacting afterwards. But it really, really adds so much when you do make them more believable and have their reactions too, because that's what happened when I did that previous scene, the cart scene. Like, as soon as I did the other character reactions, it just made it like 1000% better. Okay, Naz, how you doing? Rose and chat, boy, it's been a while. How you doing, Naz? It's good to see you again. Hope you're having a good week. I was under the impression that you made browser games with this engine. If it does say so on that link that I gave, that the program link, then it probably does, as long as it says that. But I can't confirm whether, you know, I don't actually know, because I'm planning on doing it on Windows. And I mean, I wouldn't say no to browser if it was workable like that, but I don't know how. I'm very not aware of the browser game thing, you know. How a game's saved in the browser, you know, like I'm not actually sure, because I've never really played browser games before. I'm a browser game noob. So I mean, that, you know, I'm just working on Windows at the moment. But like I said, I'm not going to say no or yes to anything else until I know for sure. But I'm not really working on the platform stage at the moment, thinking about platforms, because I want to actually get the episode done first. Well, you know, I want to get it at a reasonable level before I start thinking of that, because I don't want to get sidetracked. I want to focus on what matters right now. And, you know, it's not like I've got a team. I can't exactly hire someone and be like, okay, you do that for me. You figure out the platform side, because it's just me here. So I have to take everything a step at a time and do everything in an organised order as best as I can, I guess. If you export for web, it should work. Browsers can save data to local storage. The RPG Maker engine should do that for you already. Yeah, and if RPG Maker says it's with browser, then yeah, totally. It obviously does do that, and that's awesome if it does do that. And you know, I'm just not going to promise though, guys. I'm not going to say, yeah, if RPG Maker does it on browser, then so will I, because it might not work for my game to do it on browser, even if it works for others. I only know until I've tested it myself and seen if it can work with my own eyes. I can tell you now, though, it 100% won't be on mobile. And I know RPG Maker does export these games for mobile as well. I remember seeing that. But this one won't be, because it's just, you know, mobiles are tiny, and in this game it won't fit, that's for sure. It would look like a tiny little thing. Would have to be complete, the UI and everything would just have to be completely redesigned if I was going to do it on mobile, and it's not really something I'm willing to put time into. You know, I've got enough on my plate already, so no mobile. I promised myself that I will buy a PC when this game comes out, Mac user. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, like I was briefly discussing at one point, Mac Linux, I believe you can have them on there, but I'm not gonna, there's a question mark over it at the moment, so I'm not gonna get Mac and Linux users' hopes up at this stage that it's gonna be on there. I'm not saying a no or that it's impossible, but there's just, we'll see is all. All I can say with 100% certainty is it will be on Windows, you know. Anything else right now is a question mark. But there's definitely a cross for mobile. Oh, well, I'll be prepared for the worst. Yeah, we'll see, guys. Because once we've done enough content for episode 1, once I'm happy with what we've got and I'm thinking, yeah, there's enough here to release an episode 1 now, once we're finally there, I'll be thinking about stuff like that. I'll probably be actually spending streams looking into that stuff, you know, and doing it with you guys and really looking into that side of things. But it's just a bit premature at this stage to do that. So I'm going to wait until we've got more content first. Yeah, save the RPG Maker file, send over to a Mac and build the game from there. Yeah, I think my only worry more than anything is that I won't be able to test on a Mac or Linux myself, because I don't own those. I can only test on Windows because that's what I have. So unless we had people here that were willing to be testers for the game that owned those, a Mac and Linux, you know, if that was the case, then that'd be cool, because something that makes me very cautious about releasing on a computer or platform that I don't have myself to test that on, because, you know, what if it looked a total mess when it got released on there? So it all depends on things like that as well, if we had the testers for those. Isn't this the newest RPG Maker? Then it has an option to release as HTML5 version, and you can export to all formats. I thought, yeah, Mac version could be exactly Naz. It's a risk, and it would be very stupid of me to release it on those without having tested it and known it's working on those. So yeah, you kind of need people with those. You know, I need people with Mac to test for me. And hi Smilbringer, I hope you're doing well. It's awesome to see you, Smilbringer. Yeah, like, I'm not going to say no to having it browser, but I can't promise it, because I don't know if it would suit the nature of the game. Like, I know very little about browser games, you know, and it might not work. It might not be feasible for what I'm doing. you know, I don't personally play RPGs in a browser, and there's not games that I really am inspired by that I play in a browser that are like this. So everything is a sort of Windows game, at least, or, you know, to that degree. So we'll just see, guys. I just don't know. Hi, Gabriel. How are you doing, Smallbringer? Though it's good to see you. And I even heard that it can be on Switch now. I mean, am I wrong? I heard rumours that it was RPG Maker stuff was coming to Switch, but I could be completely misinformed. I'm just going by somebody actually came to me and said that, but I know very little about it. I don't know exactly. I don't know if it would suit, if you know what I mean. Like, some RPG Maker games could work great if they're short, like little games and a browser and that, and you know, but you know, this is a game that might not suit that sort of thing. I heard about the Switch version too, yeah. So, you know, that's another possibility, but it also might not be feasible because you need license for Switch and stuff like that. So I don't even know, you know. But this is stuff I have to research into myself, and when the time comes, when we get to the stage of the project where platform research and all that sort of stuff, marketing, all the testing and all that stage comes in before release, and we'll know a lot more then. But honestly, I was like, at minimum we're on Windows, and that, if Windows is all we end up on, that's totally fine for me. And I know, unfortunately, some people don't have a Windows PC, and that's the unfortunate thing. Some things are only on one platform, but you know, Windows is also a thing that a lot of people have, you know. So it's one of the most played platforms. Looking for jobs, otherwise love game development and game design, programming stuff when I got time for it. Yay. And I hope good luck with the job search. But yes, I hope the game development's going well as well, Smallbringer. What about support from your operating system? You know, guys, like, if I could, I mean, I know that's a joke, but if I could, I'd love it on every platform, just because I'd want as many people to play it as possible. But you can't. Sometimes you can't. You know, you have to limit yourself somewhere. And yeah, unfortunately, that means some of you won't be able to play. Like some of you have said, you've only got a Mac or you've only got a Linux, and yeah, that's unfortunate. But we'll say, guys, we'll say we need to do the game first. We need to make the game. It's definitely very premature. BRB, coffee is done. Yes, enjoy your coffee, Naz. What are you sad at, Zephyrus? Guys, don't be sarcastic with me, because I always take things literally. It's how I am. I can't sense sarcasm, unfortunately. So if you say something, 90% of the time I'm going to actually believe it. So just a warning. Okay. So where were we? What were we going to do next? Right, so Carol did react to tomato, and we can get lemon in now. I think we can do lemon's bit of dialogue. So let's have him come out the basket. So we just need these two assets here. And we need to, unfortunately, have to copy them 3 times, which is easy enough to do. It would be easier if we didn't have to do it, but it has to be done, because that's the way the character sprite sheets are set up in RPG Maker, and that's the only way we can really animate things. So here we go. So there we go. He's going to jump out next, so let's save that. I would like sarcasm down to the upset. Yeah, I'm bad enough at detecting sarcasm in real life. Never mind on message where I can't tell somebody's tone of voice. You know, I'm pretty, you know, some people don't get that, and I'm one of them. Kitten, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I mean, I've had like almost some really like serious misunderstandings with people from sarcasm before. Like, I've fully took it literally, and they've had to explain to me, no, Rose, that's just a joke, that's sarcasm. And it's really difficult sometimes because I just don't understand. Just don't. Text is hard. Yeah, it just makes it even harder, you know. Like, the only time, guys, I'll give you something now. If you're being sarcastic and you put a kappa at the end, then I know. That's I'll know if you put a kappa at the end. But if there's no kappa there, I'm going to just believe it. Oh, we need the bit where lemon's out the basket as well. That's important, so we'll get that too. But to say the kappa, because I always use, yeah, I think it really helps a lot when talking online to people, because I get worried about using sarcasm without the kappa personally, because I was thinking, what if people think I'm being serious? And I think that's just because I'm like that. I always think people are being serious, so I always think that if I'm sarcastic and don't put kappa, then I think others will not realise as well. What is kappa? Yeah, that's kappa. It means, it's the emote, if you don't know, guys, some of you. It means basically sarcasm, or is that's the real meaning of it, isn't it, I think. But I think it has some other meanings too, like, but I'm not sure. I only really know it for sarcasm. I feel you, Rose. I was just like you when I met my hubby. Now I'm one of the most sarcastic people in the workplace. Well, you've come a long way. That's character growth, Kung. I couldn't ever imagine myself being sarcastic. I think when I try to be, it doesn't really work. I don't know. I don't think I pull that sort of humour off. My humour's just plain old weird. Got a very quirky stupid sense of humour I have. Like Carol the Barrel, that's my humour. Growth or decay? Well, it depends, I guess, if you like sarcasm or not. Currently doing some digital painting, trying to get back into it. It's nice to have you on my other stream. Thanks for the content. Thank you, Clem. That's very kind. And that sounds super cool, digital painting. I've always wished I was good at that sort of thing. I did graphic design, so I know my way around composition and layout and some minimal kinds of art. But when it comes to anything super painterly and detailed, that's where I'm like, oh, that's definitely beyond me. And I always think it's quite very awesome for those that can do that stuff. Graphic design, nice, yeah. I think it helps, like when it comes to stuff like my overlays and my emotes and stuff related to my stream, like it helps actually having a bit of an eye for that sort of thing, I guess. So I'm kind of glad, because I mostly, like, I've done everything on my stream myself, apart from that samurai character art comic book drawing of me. That was done by a proper professional. I wish I could do something like that though, but you know your skills and what you're good at. I wish I was good at all or even known ounce of coding, only concepts honestly. I'm just a humble sound and music guy. Well, embrace that now, you know. Sometimes we want to be good at all sorts of stuff, but you know, if I was, you know, that you can only do so much and you can't do everything, you know. So sometimes focusing on what you're good at goes a long way too. My typing is bad today, sorry. Don't worry, I get it. I get you, Clem. Okay, I think that can be saved now. So this is just the bit where lemon jumps out of the basket. We've got when blueberry and plum and apple jump out here, but we'll work on those after. Okay, so we've already set this up with tomatoes, so it should be straightforward doing it for lemon. We will have to give lemon his own event now, so this is going to be interesting. I have a plan, so that this is lemon event 14. We can just move the location of the event. I think that could work. So can delete that. Right, so let me have a look at my Photoshop file. So it's the second row animation we want, which is actually equivalent to turn left. So and then it's turn right. I don't know if I've set this up right, but we'll see. Press to your that sarcastic. You're probably amazing at something I couldn't even imagine being decent at. Yeah, I agree with Naz. We all have a calling. Well, I love analysing blood samples. Yeah, and if we all could do the same thing, that, you know, that would be boring. It's good to have different talents that lie elsewhere. And we can work at being a master at those talents that we're good at, right? Yeah, you're all really nice. I like having a nice chat. It is awesome. Okay, I don't know if I've done that setup right. Things like this require a bit of focus sometimes, so Move event location should be somewhere. Yeah, set event location, that's it. So event 14. And there. So that will move it to the position the tomato was in. And then oh, actually that should be event 13. Yeah, this can take a bit of thinking, all this stuff that I'm doing here, because it's a little, it can get a little bit, you know, I'm kind of breaking RPG Maker, you know. I'm trying to do these ambitious animation things that you can't actually do in this program, really. I'm just like, you know, doing some things to try and get it to work. Right, so turn right, and then lemon. There we go, 60 frame. So I think that bit's fine. Oh, we got to change it to event 14. I think there's something wrong with this movement route here. I don't know if I've got the directions correct entirely, so it might look really messy when we do a test play. We'll see. We'll see. So that is definitely about, yeah. So we're going to do a test play, but I'm expecting it to go completely wrong in all honesty, because I didn't really look at it properly as I was doing it. So we'll see. If it is right, I'll be pleasantly surprised. So this is like a complete different area, the Everbloom Forest. By the way, this is actually the first map, and I've just set up a random teleport here to take us to the last map of the forest. Because it just saves us going through it all. Because it would take us like a good 10 minutes to just rush through that place. Forgot to fix the iron bit. Okay, so it did mess up a bit. Oops, he shouldn't be on top of tomato lemon. But I've put him on the same movement route, so that's why he is. Yeah, there's a little bit of an animation flaw going on there. He's meant to be out of that box now, so let's fix that. So that's easy enough. We need to change event 13 to, so right, that play game. I think it's because we need the turn up, that's why. Row 4, it means turn up, so we got turn down instead of turn up. So yeah, there's that, and I think that'll fix the problem. And that's meant to be turn right, and that's meant to be turn left. I think that'll fix it. Let's see. Because I didn't really think properly when I was doing that before, so. I love this tune. Oh, what one is it? Because I haven't got my earphones in. So I've got this Final Fantasy music in the background for you guys, but I'm not actually listening to it myself right now. Sometimes I do have my earphones in, but sometimes they hurt my ears if I have them in for too long, so. I love his little bounce so much. Okay, so not too bad. Obviously, we don't want him, he's not going to be on top of tomato. We're going to change his movement route so he stands somewhere else. I don't know why we haven't got Carol's side face. I think we've used the wrong graphic. So we'll fix that too. But yeah, it's coming together, and I think we've mastered the fruit jumping out of the basket thing. What we've got going here with our little fruit animations will work fine for that. So really, got to think of my list to do. So there's that. There's the avatars for them. There's the rose painting animation things. That's another thing as well. And there's actually putting all the dialogue in as well. So there's all these endless things to do. So we just take it a step at a time. We take it a step at a time, and we'll have a finished scene eventually. Amiga OS release, something you would strive for. In all honesty, if I'm gonna tell you guys the platforms that it might be on other than Windows, Mac, Linux and Switch, you know, those I think are the only possible ones. But I'm not promising that, so don't get your hopes up. Just because I've said that doesn't mean it'll be on them. But as far as I'm aware, those are the only ones that are really possible with RPG Maker. And I'll only put them on there if the process of putting them on is straightforward and doesn't cost me loads of money. Well, doesn't cost me any money. This is a £0 budget project, guys. And obviously, I have to be able to test on the platform. You know, I have to own the platform myself. Otherwise, I have to have testers do, you know, be kind enough to be willing to do that for me. And if there's no one who is, then, you know, it can't be on that platform because I won't be releasing on something that I haven't known if it's going to work on there or not. Great seeing you guys. Always seeing your face. Always great seeing your face and getting those vibes. Perfect way to start my morning. Yay! I'm glad to hear it. I hope I can be motivating like that. That'd be awesome. Doing some sound design challenges in another stream. Have fun. Have fun. Thank you for the kind words. Yay. When I churned out more small games, I had people ask me about Linux, Mac and other support. Yeah. Please don't forget that. Bye. Yay. But yes, at the moment, guys, it's just Windows, in all honesty, and we'll just keep it as that. I mean, like I say, I'm not saying never. It all depends if it's possible, and it might not be. It might be, you know, might not be possible. Right, so, but we'll revisit that topic another time when we've got more content, as I said earlier, and when we finally get to the point where we'll be exploring those things. I'm just one person. I can't do everything at once. Okay, so right, guys, look at the time. I did not realise it was that time, you know. Where does the time go when I stream, right? We got yeah, I wondered why that was up. Oh, look at all you guys who've joined the Discord. I see you. I'm going to give you a welcome when I've finished. Unfortunately, time is passing. My dinner's nearly ready, so, but I will welcome you. And thank you so much for joining, guys. It's always good to have new peeps in the Discord. Yeah, do what you're comfortable. Exactly. And I think it's when you start feeling pressure like that. Well, this is to myself as well, not just Zephyrus or anybody. When you start feeling, oh, we got to do it on that platform, or should we do that? That's when, you know, it takes the fun out of it. And sometimes, you know, you can't do everything, and just do what you can. That's what I always tell myself. Because, you know, there's no way this could be a long-term ongoing project if I put too much pressure on myself. We have to keep the fun in it, you know. Right, guys, so I am going to pass this to someone else before I head off, because time is moving on, and I never like to go because I always have a blast. But I really do like the slightly longer streams, guys, and we did have a late start today, so it wasn't as long as we wanted it to be, and it was all because of silly OBS tech issues, which is always a letdown when they end up coming. But we are on track for having longer streams anyway, and I think I'll enjoy them. So we're gonna raid, exclamation mark raid. Gretch is on, so we're gonna go to Gretch, guys. She's playing Final Fantasy VII Classic Original, which is one of my favourite games. So we'll go see how she's getting on. Especially if you're an individual making a game, we're not a major company able to distribute to everything. Yeah, exactly, Clem. Like, you see those credits with tons of, like, a team of people for a reason, because that proves how much effort goes into a game. There's many different departments, there's many different individuals that work on a game, and when you think that there's one single individual working on a game, that is blooming, you know. Yeah, they can't do everything, that's for sure, so you're spot on there. Nice to meet you. Yeah, Clem, thanks for hanging out with us today. Thanks for the stream today, Rose, was fun. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, Kungan. Thanks as well, Rex, for the thank you. Okay, guys, so I'm going to raid Gretch now, and I'll see you all on Friday, because I have Thursdays off now, and I'm streaming on Friday, which is a day I never used to stream, so it'll be a new different experience, and I'm looking forward. So we'll see you on Friday, everybody. Have an awesome day. Take care.